Today, I'd like to talk about weight loss surgery. Right around the turn of the century, I had quit smoking, and I was forced to cook my own meals, which was probably a few of the reasons why I had put on the weight. Now, there were out there people who knew me were ignorant about why some people are obese. They're lazy, they sleep 20 hours a day, and so on. I even had a cousin who shut off his mouth as to why I was obese, and I cracked down on him for being an idiot. Because he was saying that I was sleeping 20 hours a day, who probably was repeating what he heard from everybody else. Well, that set aside, in 2006, I had my first Lapband surgery. I didn't get down below 200 pounds where I wanted to. It was more like 270 I had gotten down to, from 450 pounds to 270. Even though I wanted to lose more weight and couldn't, at least I was able to walk around up and down the streets several miles a day and was able to keep it off. But in the winter of 2009, 2010, I had gotten sick, and the Lapband had moved. So a year later, I had gotten a Lapband replacement, and of course they couldn't adjust it and put it back to where it was on the first one, so they had to take it out and replace it. Now, with the COVID that came out last year, all that work I had done in getting off the weight to where I could walk around, I put all that weight back on because I couldn't go outside. I couldn't do my walking like I wanted to. I couldn't socialize like I wanted to, which everybody knows. And because I wasn't able to burn off more calories than I was taking in, I put all that weight I had lost back on. Now, I'm going back to the same hospital in Cooperstown, New York, for another surgery. This one, I haven't made up my mind which one I wanted. Definitely the Lapband. They won't redo that one. In a way, I'm glad, because in the end, it's kind of defeated itself. But for some people, the Lapband works great. They can keep it off forever. And for me, I kept it off for the longest time, until last year. Now, Bassett Hospital in Cooperstown, New York, where I had the first two surgeries, they offered a new surgery, which is called the gastric sleeve. I haven't made up my mind which one I want to do yet, the gastric bypass or the gastric sleeve, and I have a few months to think about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to a weight loss support group on Zoom, which is a part of the requirement. And I'm supposed to have a psych evaluation, which I'm having done at the VA hospital, and they're supposed to send the results to Bassett Hospital, because a psych evaluation is something you need for any type of weight loss surgery or transplants. I knew about the weight loss surgery, but organ transplants, psych evaluation, I did not know about until recently. Now, I got a few months to think about which one I want, and during this time, I'm learning more about the gastric sleeve. Now, with the gastric sleeve, it's not as strict as the gastric bypass. Of course, with the gastric bypass, you're required to take vitamins for the rest of your life, and they're very strict about taking in the vitamins for whatever reason, because the stomach is no longer there. And because the stomach is no longer there, like say I have the gastric bypass and I have one shot of whiskey, I'll be above and beyond the legal limit, like somebody who has a stomach who had 3 or 4 shots of whiskey. The acid in the stomach is what breaks down the food, the alcohol, and anything else that the body absorbs. Without that, that's part of the reason why you would have to be taking vitamins for the rest of your life. But with the gastric bypass, they cut the diameter of the stomach in half, which would be the diameter that of a banana. But with that gastric sleeve, you would still have the acid in the stomach, and you would have to have 3 or 4 shots of whiskey to get drunk, just like somebody who has the gastric bypass with one drink, because you still have the acid in the stomach to break everything down. So the vitamin demand on your body that you'll be have to take it for the rest of your life with the gastric bypass is not as strict as with the gastric sleeve. It's kind of like the Lapband, but the Lapband is like on this portion, on the upper portion of the stomach, as whereas the sleeve diameter is this big, and they cut it down to this big, just about the diameter of a banana, and the acid will still be there for your body to dissolve the liquids and the solid foods you'll be taking in. Now, the beginning of July, I have to go see a dietitian. And the middle of July, I'm having a psych evaluation for the weight loss surgery. Now, both those are part of the requirements for the surgery. Seeing a dietitian and seeing a psychologist for the weight loss. Of course, they want to make sure that you'll be following the rules very strictly as far as the weight loss is concerned. That's one of the reasons why you have to have a psych evaluation. And the dietitian is to make sure you're well informed about having a high protein, low carb diet and not eating empty calories. Eating or drinking empty calories. And what I mean by empty calories is stuff like cookies, ice cream, soda, anything that doesn't have protein and vitamins in it. And with the weight loss surgery, you're part of the dietary involved is making sure you eat solid food. That way you stay full longer, because you're supposed to eat in the morning, breakfast, then you eat lunch around noontime, then you eat dinner, which is more or less 5 hours apart, give or take a few minutes. Now, I've known some people who either skip breakfast or they had breakfast and lunch and skipped dinner. Well, with the amount of food restriction that you'll be taking in, you want to make sure your body isn't robbing the protein from your muscles. Because that's where it will take its protein in if you're not getting enough of it in. Well, I hope I did a good job in explaining to you about the weight loss process of weight loss surgery. And if you feel that you need it as a last resort, I hope you see your primary caregiver and talk to them about it before starting any kind of diet or going forth with having surgery. You should always speak to your primary caregiver, whoever he or she may be, before proceeding with any form of diet to make sure your body can handle it. With diet and exercise. Because you don't want to start doing something and you have some sort of hidden medical reason for not doing it that you may not be aware of, and checking with your doctor, he or she may be able to tell you if you're healthy enough to do the surgery for the weight loss and for exercising. And if you feel that this doctor isn't being straight with you, it's always a good idea to get a second opinion. But if you're able to trust the doctor who's giving you advice on what to do, then you should listen to them. And if you feel something's funny and not right, get a second opinion. But no matter what, always speak to a medical doctor on whatever you decide to do. Thank you for listening, and hope you enjoy doing the right thing and taking the weight off and enjoying your life with and keeping the weight off. Thank you. Have a nice day.